Hello everyone, and in this video I have brought to you a Wuthering Waves tier list for the limited weapons, so that you can know which weapon you should be investing in if you are looking for an all-rounder weapon. I had made a video on this in past, but this video has a few changes and we have new weapons. This will be our judging criteria. A signature weapon is usually 16 to 17% better than a standard banner weapon options on the designated character with some exceptions, mostly the new weapons. I will judge the weapons based on how effective their passive is, how many characters can use it, and how much of an upgrade it is over the standard banner weapon options. Before we start with this tier list, let me explain the tiers. I have divided this tier list into 4 sections: S, A, B and C. S tier weapons are the weapons that are very flexible while providing a substantial damage increase over the standard banner options, not only for its designated character but for other characters as well. A tier weapons are weapons that can be used on quite a lot of characters. Their passive is quite easy to trigger and are considerably better than the standard banner weapon options on other characters. B tier weapons are the weapons that can be used on other characters but provide a similar performance or only a slight increase than the standard banner weapon options and have potential to be used with future characters. C tier weapons are niche weapons, only usable on a specific character or a specific team. However, this weapon is better than other options for that character by a huge margin. Let's start with the very first limited weapon of this game, the Verdant Summit, which is Jian's signature. This weapon gives unconditional 12% attribute damage bonus and a 48% heavy attack damage bonus, which is easily achievable through intro skill and resonance liberation cast. The best weapon option for Jian, however, the problem with this weapon lies not in its stats but the characters. We currently don't have any broadblade characters that deal heavy attack damage other than Jian, which makes this weapon's performance very similar to the Lustrous Razor on other characters like Jinxi, Lupa or Calcharo. As a result, I will put this weapon in B tier, but if you have a future broadblade character focused on heavy attack damage, then this weapon will become better. Next we have Yinlin's signature Stringmaster, which gives high crit rate and an easily achievable attack buff which can be used by any rectified DPS and sub DPS. This weapon unarguably is the best weapon in the game. Not only it can be used on every rectified DPS or sub DPS, it also provides a substantial damage increase over the standard banner weapon, even competitive with the signature of some characters when used on them. However, the recent character Phrolova, her signature is way better than the Stringmaster, but for other rectified characters it is a solid option, so this makes it an S tier weapon. Next we have Jinxi's signature Aegis of Harvest, which gives crit rate and resonance skill damage bonus. However, it shares the same fate as Verdant Summit of not having a broadblade character that deals resonance skill damage aside from Jinxi herself. But unlike heavy attacks, most of the characters can use resonance skills. Like the weapon is 6% better than the Lustrous Razor on Jian, it is 8% better on Lumi, so it can be slightly better than the Verdant Summit, but still not a must pull if you don't have Jinxi. I will still put it in B tier above the Verdant Summit. Next we have Changli's signature Blazing Brilliance. This weapon provides a good amount of crit damage and an easily stackable resonance skill damage up to 56%. Most of the sword characters use a resonance skill, which makes this weapon usable on them. It is great for balancing crit ratio on someone like Havoc Rover who already gets a lot of crit rate from their kit. But since the standard banner weapon Emerald of Genesis is already so good, the damage increase won't be that high. Even on Changli it is around 10% damage increase, which is less than the signature of other characters. However, it doesn't have a restrictive passive and can be used on almost every sword character, so I will put it in A tier. Next we have JJ's signature Rime Draped Sprouts. This weapon is pretty decent. What I mean by this is that this weapon provides a good amount of damage increase over the standard banner weapon Cosmic Ripples due to the fact that it provides a very high crit damage and attack buff. The basic attack damage buff is usually not fully utilized by anyone else other than JJ. However, I will put it in A tier because of our judging criteria, but it will be way worse than the Stringmaster no matter what. There's another weapon that has kind of power creeped this weapon, which we will talk about in a bit. Moving on, we have Shangli of signature Verity's handle. It has crit rate, gives 12% all attribute damage bonus and an easy to achieve 48% resonance liberation damage bonus. One of the issues of this weapon is that we don't have characters that benefit much from liberation damage buff. It will always be better than the standard banner weapon on other characters due to the crit value and the attribute damage bonus alone, but it won't be by much. If we get characters that benefit from its liberation damage buff, this weapon will become better. As of now, I will be putting it in B tier. Next we have Stella's Symphony, which is Shorekeeper's signature. Stella's Symphony is a support weapon which gives a huge amount of energy regen, HP %, concerto generation and a team-wide 14% attack buff. This weapon is an amazing option for Shorekeeper, helping her with ER and team buff. However, this weapon is not a must pull and I won't recommend the F2Ps to pull for it cause variation exists. But this is a very flexible weapon cause the sustained support is required in almost every team. And with the Whimpering Waves, having it can be nice as you will need to use 2 supports. And everyone may not have variation. However, the main problem is that this weapon cannot be used by Verena as the passive requires a character to heal with their skill, which she cannot. As a result, I will put it in B tier. Next we have the signature of Camellia, Red Spring. This weapon gives crit rate, 12% attack and 70% basic attack damage bonus. Most characters can only get the 30% basic attack damage bonus and the remaining 40% is restricted to Camellia. The main problem of this weapon is the Emerald of Genesis is so good that the Red Spring only proves to be very similar or only around 5% better on other characters, so I will put this in B tier. Next on the list we have Carlotta's weapon, the Last Dance. It gives an amazing amounts of crit damage, 12% attack and 48% resonance skill damage bonus after using Liberation, but only for 5 seconds. This is the best DPS pistol we have cause the standard banner weapon, even though it is good for damage due to its crit stats, focuses on buffing the next character. But I won't put it in S tier cause unlike Stringmaster, this buff is neither generic nor long lasting. Some characters like Mortefi or Alto would still prefer the standard banner weapon when used as a sub DPS. So I'll put this weapon in lower A tier because it is a good upgrade for the only other pistol DPS, which is Chixia. Going forward we have Rochia's signature, Tragicomedy. It increases attack by 12% and gives 48% heavy attack damage bonus every time a basic attack or intro skill is cast, but only for 3 seconds. With Zani, who is a gauntlet user and deals mostly heavy attack damage, the Tragicomedy becomes better than Verity's handle in terms of versatility, making it an A tier weapon. Next we have Phoebe's signature, Luminous Hymn. It gives 36% crit rate and 42% basic and 42% heavy attack damage bonus, but only on hitting enemies affected with Spectrofrazzle. It is only usable on Phoebe but can be used on other characters if used in teams that apply Spectrofrazzle like with Spectro Rover or Phoebe. Since this weapon is restricted to only Spectrofrazzle teams, it is quite niche and currently only good on Phoebe. As for Phoebe herself, it is not much of an upgrade over the Stringmaster, even the other 2 limited rectifiers are quite close to it. Its greatest selling point is a Spectrofrazzle buff, which is great for Zani. It can be used as a stat stick on other characters and performs closely or slightly better than the standard banner weapon, but we have 4 other rectifiers who have more flexible passive than this one. I was thinking of putting it in C tier, but I think it goes into B tier because even though it is niche, it can be used on others as stat stick. Next on the list we have Unflickering Valor, which is a weapon for the all-rounder character, Brand. It gives a ton of energy regen, 8% crit rate and 48% basic attack damage bonus. Needless to say, this weapon is made only for Brand. Its passive is not restricted as its triggering criteria is quite easy, but it is currently only good on Brand because of the high amount of energy regen and low base attack. It is a niche weapon, but the other weapon options are not as good as this on Brand, which is why it goes into C tier. Next we have the weapon of our jellyfish mommy, Whispers of Siren. It provides a very high crit damage of 72%, provides attack percent, 40% basic attack damage bonus and ignores 12% target's havoc resistance. Most characters can use this weapon and trigger the first half of the passive and get 40% basic attack damage bonus as they can use their echo skill to activate it. It is not possible to get 2 stacks on other characters unless you have some special echoes. It is a better option than the standard banner weapon no matter what happens. This goes into A tier as its passive is easy to trigger while also providing more basic attack damage bonus than JG's signature for other characters. Next we have Zani's signature, Blazing Justice. This weapon provides a good amount of crit damage, has a high base attack, gives 12% attack and the ability to ignore 8% enemy's defense. However, the other part of the passive is only usable by Zani as it amplifies Spectrofrazzle damage. For Zani, it is a huge increase over the Abyss Surges. Overall, the first half of the passive makes it slightly better and more flexible than other limited gauntlets. I will put it in A tier. Moving forward, we have Chacona's signature, Woodland Aria. This weapon provides a massive 36% crit rate and a low base attack of 500. It provides a permanent 12% attack buff. Additionally, it provides 24% arrow damage bonus and 10% arrow resistance rate, but is locked behind arrow erosion. As a result, it can be only used by Chacona. This weapon for other DPS characters will work pretty similar or slightly better due to the attack passive than the standard banner weapon, but not by much. For sub DPS characters, the Static Mist is a better option. I will put this in B tier. Moving on, we have the Defier's Horn, which is Karthitya's signature. This weapon provides a ton of HP, defense trade and damage amplification on targets affected by arrow erosion. Needless to say, it can only be used by Karthitya, the only HP scaling DPS, which makes this a C tier or niche weapon, but highly recommended to pull if you have Karthitya. Next we have Lupa's signature, Wildfire Mark. It has a high base attack and provides good crit damage. Performing intro skill or using Liberation increases Liberation damage by 24% for 6 seconds, which can be extended by casting a heavy attack, which further gives team-wide 24% fusion damage buff. Not only the best weapon for Lupa but also for Kalkairo, especially when used with other fusion characters like Changli. Even for Jian, although the buffs are not good for him, it is better than the standard banner weapon as it can buff more the fist damage. The most versatile broadblade we currently have, I will put it in A tier. And lastly we have Phrolova's signature Lethean Elegy. It has a high base attack and gives 24.3% crit rate. It increases attack by 12% and after dealing echo skill damage, it gives 32% resonance skill damage bonus and 32% echo skill amplification and ignores 8% of enemy's defense. The trigger condition is not difficult, which makes it great for any Rectifier user that deals resonance skill damage. But we currently only have one other than Phrolova. I will put it in A tier cause it can be used on other characters and is a massive DPS improvement for Phrolova, which makes it a must pull if you have her. And with this, our tier list is complete. For those who skip directly to this part, I recommend watching the justification of the weapons which you think have been placed unfairly. What do you think about this tier list? Let me know in the comments. And that's all for this video. Don't forget to like and share the video and subscribe for more Wuthering Waves content. Thanks for watching.